Hello, everyone. How are we? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day wherever you are around the world. And how are we, chat? Welcome back to yet another match preview show for another evening. Of course, it is Fulham v Liverpool. It is Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. I'm gonna double check that now before I do spread misinformation. Anyway, let me double check. Yes, it's 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. But of course, obviously the games are counting down now. Of course, Liverpool are only just a short time away from hopefully winning the Premier League title. Of course, 4 more wins gets the job done, and hopefully, what obviously one step will be, of course, on Sunday against Fulham, of course. But again, and also saying that mind, Liverpool could also be helped by, of course, the Blue Shites, who do play Arsenal at 12:30 on Saturday, of course, tomorrow as well. So look, maybe Liverpool might only need 3 wins, depending on what happens in that game. But I highly suspect Arsenal will get the job done on the weekend anyway. But again, how are we, chat? Hopefully everyone's well. Of course, we're going to dive in and talk, of course, about Liverpool and Fulham. Of course, get your score predictions in, your starting 11 predictions in. And of course, we're going to kickstart the show not talking about the actual game. We're going to talk a little bit about the news, just to kick things off, and talk about Victor Osimhen. Where on earth this rumor come from? We're going to kickstart and talk about him in due course. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. We got Red Rebellion as well saying my prediction: 2-1 Liverpool win. Big up to Luke as well. Obviously, I should say Mikel Arteta. Phase 6 tomorrow as well. Come on. I had a couple of more phases than Luke. It's got to be about 6. Not 6, sorry. It's got to be about 8 or 9, isn't it? But good evening, John. Saying good evening, Connor. Thoughts on a midfielder not being a priority signing? This is so wrong, in my opinion. Of course, we will get onto that in a minute. And of course, Rebellion says, John, is that the media reporting BS again? So, talking of this and this certain thing, I think you're going off David Ornstein's report, wasn't it, about how it's not on Liverpool's priority list to get another midfielder in. And I think the way he's worded it has made it sound a lot worse. Again, I think Liverpool will be in for a midfielder. I think Liverpool, it's not on the top priority list because, again, our top priority list at the present moment in time is re-signing Virgil van Dijk, re-signing Mo Salah, getting a left back in, getting a striker in. They are the main important things at the minute. Of course, are Liverpool going to address that area? I think we will. I think there's a very high possibility Liverpool get 2 midfielders in, possibly, depending on sales. I think Liverpool might get a more defensive midfielder in and get a more offensive midfielder, depending on, of course, which players do leave. But I think it's just poor wording from his report. But again, that's just me being optimistic about the phrase anyway. But in terms of that, I would say it's more of just a bad phrase of words than anything else, in my personal opinion. Anyway, but phase 5 was Saka returning. Phase 6 is life without Gabriel. Pray for Madrid. Pray for Madrid. You got to know Saka's back. There's no excuses. They should win. They should comfortably win against Real Madrid, if you listen to Arsenal fans. Anyway, but I think the funniest thing I think today was it confirmed Rudiger's not going to be suspended for the game, or Mbappe or Vinny. Very much everybody's going to be playing. I think Rudiger had I think it was like a £300,000 fine, which is pretty much nothing really for him. So yeah, look, I think it's very funny. Anyway, but Road Billion says Zubimendi would have been at the club last summer if he had decided to leave Spain. Endo will likely leave and be replaced. How dare you? How dare you suggest that the best midfielder at the club is going to be replaced? How dare you? Absolutely awful take. I am joking, of course, but look, I love Wataru Endo. If you're a long-time viewer of the channel, again, I think Wataru Endo is the type of player we need in the squad. Again, look at it on Wednesday against Everton. The last 10 minutes screamed with Endo, brought him on. It's kind of like that Rafa Benitez meme of him taking off his glasses and it's job done. That is that is just the equivalent of Wataru Endo. He's an absolute legend, and I think he'll stay. I do think he will stay on next season. But again, that depends on what Liverpool want to do, of course, obviously the teams in the Bundesliga that are interested at the minute. I think there's two teams from the Bundesliga and two teams from the French league at the minute that are keeping an eye on him as well, which again, that will be very interesting to see on the summer, or in the summer, I should say. But Madrid have both goalkeepers out, I believe. Do they really? Oh, wow, that's bad. Endo would have been gone last summer. Is Zupi joined? We got offers for him last summer. We didn't technically have offers for him. I think I know what you mean. I think Marseille inquired about him, and of course there was that talk of that bid. But they didn't. I don't think they officially put it in. I think it was the case of because I think they signed Højbjerg. I think it was from Spurs, which again I think they got him very, very cheap. They might have even got him on a free transfer. Can't remember, but I think they inquired about it. And Liverpool said, I think was it 15 million, 20 million. And they said it was too expensive. And I think maybe that might be the other point of view as well, where I think Frankfurt have apparently looked at him, and one or two other Bundesliga teams. And I think the price point is another thing, really, where you look at Wataru Endo and you think maybe that might be the sticking point. But of course, it depends on whether or not he'll want to go and leave and then obviously join other teams anyway. But I hope every plate of food that Zubimendi has served, that's funny, to be fair. Wataru Endo as well. Well, to be fair, Arsenal fans have pretty much written now in the stars that Zubimendi's going to be joining them in the summer, which, again, I'm just saying Real Madrid. I think he may end up going to Madrid, potentially. Anyway, but getting on to the Liverpool transfer side of things before we do start the Fulham preview, of course, I want to talk about Victor Osimhen. I keep trying to think Victor Gyökeres. No, it's Victor Osimhen that we are talking about. And of course, it is a reports that are coming out as of 2 hours ago. As you guys can see in the small box, but there, it does say Victor Osimhen is a player Liverpool have admired for some time, but Fabrizio Romano added to that, saying that Napoli want to sell Osimhen as soon as possible. English clubs are interested, and straight away, my first thought process to this is no. I don't want Victor Osimhen at Liverpool. Absolutely not. Now, some people might go, why? Look, he's a proven striker. When you do look at it, again, I think this season, I think he's got over 25 goals in the Turkish league. Obviously, in the Serie A, of course, he's hit the numbers. Well, for me, I think personally he would be a Lukaku 2.0. And of course, you could turn around and go, oh, well, Lukaku did really well at Everton, did really well, at other teams as well. But for me, I think he would just flop in the Premier League. I really do. I think the one team that's going to go in for him, I think, is Manchester United or Chelsea. I think them two are really going to compete for him because supposedly Napoli are interested in potentially, a cut price deal just to get rid of him because they just wiped their hands off of him. Antonio Conte does not want him at the club, which of course, obviously that screams Liverpool in some sense, to be fair, to obviously get a player for a decent price. But for me, it would be a no. 100% it would be a no. I think for me, you guys know, I'm all on the Hugo Ekitike, is that how you say his last name? I've been trying to think how to say it. I think that's how you say it. I'm all on his train at the minute because I think, look, Alexander Isak is impossible to get. And I do think it is now an impossible deal. And when you look in Europe now, it looks like Arsenal are going to go after Victor Gyökeres. And it does feel like everybody now is kind of having that same idea of, if you're going to go and pay for Alexander Isak or even enter the conversation for him, you are talking 150 minimum now, because again, it looks likely they're going to get Champions League football. Of course, obviously Chelsea and Manchester City at the minute are the two fighting, obviously, fourth and fifth at the present moment in time. But again, European football in that stage, Newcastle might sneak in, because I think Newcastle still play Chelsea as well at some point in this run-in. And I do think as well, if they do get Champions League football, absolutely, there's no conversation. Enjoy another season at Newcastle, really. But again, if there is the possibility that Newcastle don't get Champions League football, of course, the price is going to be set. It's going to be around 120, 130, 140 million, going up to 150, probably even a bit more than that. And of course, Liverpool are probably looking at alternatives for that. And of course, obviously, names are coming up like Victor Osimhen, even players like Liam Delap have come up as well in the conversations. Colin Mawani as well has also come up in the conversations. But for me, the undisputed number one target Liverpool should be going for is Hugo Ekitike. For me, that is the guy that Liverpool should be going for. Again, he's 22, he's young. Again, you look at the data, he's very much comparable to an Alexander Isak. And I also think he's kind of in that phase of where if Liverpool don't get him, there will be a club that will get him and he'll be a superstar in 2 years' time, and you'll go, Liverpool should have done that. It'll be the carbon copy of what it was with Isak. Isak, obviously struggled at Borussia Dortmund, went to Real Sociedad, had a really, really good turnover, really, went to Newcastle, of course, getting linked with the likes, obviously, of Arsenal and other teams and so on. But even still, had a good turnover in terms of, again, getting fit, getting, obviously, goals and assists. Then ended up moving to Newcastle and just, flicked the switch, really, and he's become one of the best strikers in the Premier League. And I think that would be similar to that Hugo as well, where, again, if we would allow him to go to another club, again, in about a year or two's time, we'd be talking about him being a superstar elsewhere. And the fact that Liverpool missed out, really. And I do think he is one of the guys that Liverpool would love to bring in. Of course, because I think even in the under 21s game, wasn't it? I think he scored a hat-trick against England, which, if you actually watch it, he battered them. He battered that English defence everywhere, really. And for me, I'm all on his train at the minute anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Anyway, but Red Rebellion says, Endo is a good player, but I don't think Slot fancies him. We have been linked with João Gomez again. We are not getting João Gomez. He's just signed a new contract as well. Of course, relegation could be a factor if Wolves somehow collapse, which is highly unlikely now at this point. But still, I don't really think, like, Liverpool were linked with João Gomez back, 2020, 2021? And there was talk in Brazil that we wanted him back in 22 as well. There was apparently a bid went in and Liverpool didn't really go in with it. It got rejected and then Liverpool didn't go back in. But again, I'd be very surprised if Liverpool went with João Gomez personally. But for me, I want Angelo Stella from Stuttgart. I think he's a really, really good player. Technical, very, very good player. I think he's 23. I think he might be. I'm going to check that out. But again, he's very he is very technical for it. Kind of a 6, really. And I think if we talk about, if Trent's going to be leaving, we do need creativity, to be fair. And again, when we're talking about creativity from deeper, again, I don't really think. Again, I think Gravenberch has been really good, but I don't think Gravenberch is that type of player. Like we've seen against Everton, really, when he was trying to, again, trying to break through the lines. Really, he's not really that player that is a good distributor. Really, Angelo Stella does give me Thiago vibes, but in a different way. But yeah, I'd love him, and plus to get a player of his quality for 30 million, it's really really good going. I think anyway. But Endo is also 32 now, so if we don't sell him, he leaves on a free. Yeah, so of course we might have to think about that. John says, I think Osimhen has a release clause, which is a FSG favorite as well. Yeah, but I think it'll be between Chelsea and Man United. Personally, I don't think Liverpool. I think it's just another name that's being linked with it. Really, I'd be very surprised if Liverpool went with Victor Osimhen in the summer. But we also linked with Vinyl winger Igor Paxa, I think it is. Again, I could be wrong with that. Who played under Slot? You've seen much of him, mate? No, I've seen the link being mentioned a few times, but I've not really taken an eye at him. Really, maybe we might do it for a video. But yeah, no, I've not seen much of him. I will be honest with that, of course. To be fair, I haven't really watched much Dutch football this season. Maybe we'll have to have a deep dive anyway, because I think I put it on Twitter. Like I will actually, I will get that up on who I think Liverpool are going to sign this summer. But of course, this is as of right now. Of course, this could completely change in like a month's time on who I think Liverpool will sign. Let me quickly get it up because I did put it on Twitter. Where we buy. But yeah, I like. Oh yeah, and that's one thing as well. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne did announce, didn't he, today that he's going to be leaving Man City, which, again, a lot of people really. I've seen a couple of people try and like say like, oh, Kevin De Bruyne's not in the top 5 midfielders at Prem. Like, really? Like, I think Kevin De Bruyne's up there for sure. In my opinion, anyway. But this is who I think is going to go anyway. So that's my list at the top on who I think Liverpool are going to sign, which does obviously include Hugo Ekitike, but also, again, Xavi Simons, Angelo Stella, Milos Kerkez, Mark Gay, and Martin Fernandez. I think that's my list that I'm going to go for as of right now. Of course, that is just, I put a sales list, but I think we might end up selling more. But again, I'm not too sure really of, again, who might come in. But again, that's just the list that I went for. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts on who you think might be coming in the summer anyway. But we'll get on then to the Fulham preview. We're all here for, really, of course. And look, like we said earlier, now it is 4 wins for Liverpool. Liverpool only need 4 wins to win that Premier League title. There we go. Yeah, we only need 4 more wins to win the title. And again, you look at the games. Of course, Fulham on the weekend, West Ham then next weekend. Which again, I think we play back-to-back Sundays now, or pretty much we're playing Sunday every week now. Yeah, we've got. We only play on Sundays now, which again is it maybe a good thing or a bad thing, really. But literally, we play on a Sunday every game now for the rest of the season, which is mad, considering normally we are in the Champions League still, or we're in some type of competition still. It's a bit weird, isn't it, to say that in particular? But still, again, the 4 games: Fulham away, West Ham at home, Leicester away, and Spurs at home. 4 winnable games, I would say. Personally, I think if we were to get past Fulham on the weekend, then that's a great indication of what Liverpool are going to do, because now we can go all out. And I think that's the big thing as well, where I think if you look at Arsenal in particular as well, of course, obviously from obviously on the midweek, of course, they beat Fulham, but still Everton now a 12:30. They've got Madrid, Brentford, Madrid again, Ipswich away from home again. And obviously, it does depend, even still, if they somehow get past Real Madrid, again, they'll have then either PSG or Villa in, of course, the semi-finals. So when you look at it, Liverpool, for me, I think Liverpool will win 4 out of 4. I do believe that. I think we will. Look, the Merseyside derby, it was a tough watch, wasn't it? Second half, I thought we were miles better, but we wasn't at our best in that game. But I do feel like now, obviously, having potentially the likes of Connor Bradley back as well, which that could be a massive bonus for the weekend. And I think it will be a big bonus, depending on, again, his slot is going to be trusting, of course, Connor Bradley to be back and be fully fit. If not, again, Curtis Jones had a very, very good game at right back in the Merseyside derby. Would most likely start again at right back, I would say, if Connor Bradley is not fit, which, again, I think he will be. I think he'll be back for the game. But again, I do think it's very interesting that looking at the 4 games coming up, I think if we beat Fulham, beat Fulham, I think we end up winning the league against Spurs. And then, of course, the Guard of Honours will be rolling in then, really. Is it going to just be one game? Will it be just one game at Chelsea? Well, actually, no. We're most likely going to get 2, aren't we? Because it'll be the first game at home as well. So, technically, Arsenal will be giving us a Guard of Honour, which that is the aim for me personally, because the entirety of the season we have heard that Liverpool don't deserve to win this league title, and Liverpool don't deserve this and don't deserve that. And when you look at it, Liverpool are 20, was it now? Is it 26, 27 games unbeaten in the Premier League? Like, we've lost 1 game this season in the league. And all right, obviously the past month, obviously getting knocked out of the Champions League, losing the Carabao Cup final, that it is tough, because again it's back-to-back defeats, and I think that the period of time that we lost as well, in terms of how you look at it and go, all right, we lost to PSG, we lost to Newcastle, and then there was a 2-week international break. You then there's obviously questions about Liverpool, Liverpool are poor, even Virgil van Dijk shutting down Michael Owen, because Michael Owen said it wasn't a special season, or it's just the Premier League. And I think City fans as well have come out this week. A lot of them have said, oh, well, it's not a special season because Liverpool are just going to win the Premier League. I'm sorry, when has the Premier League just been this knockoff thing that we just write off? It's the Premier League, it's the league title. Look, Manchester United have won 20. Liverpool are about to equal that as well. Liverpool are about to win their 2nd league title in the last 5 years. It's the first league title in 34, 35 years that we've been able to celebrate properly, because we couldn't do it last time. And that's something that I think that's laughable. And it's not really, again, it's not Liverpool for Liverpool fans, because we, again, winning the league, that's what we want to win. Again, of course, the main aims for the season is win the Champions League, win the Premier League. But I think for everyone, and this is just for me personally, it's always nice winning the Champions League. It is. And it's always, it's always special when Liverpool win a European Cup. Again, I've got, up there, I would show you, but I'd have to turn the complete camera around. But I've got a photo up there of Liverpool winning the Champions League, back in 2019. And that was a special night, and it was. But we never got to celebrate winning the Premier League. I've got a Premier League photo of us lifting it over there, but we never got to celebrate that properly. It's not like where it's going to be in May, where we are totally celebrating Liverpool winning a Premier League. We're going to be able to see it in the parade. It's going to feel amazing, and we couldn't do that last time. We could do it in some sense, in some faculty, but we couldn't do it properly. And people just claim it as as a COVID title. It wasn't a COVID title. Liverpool could have literally just stayed at home for 4 months. Liverpool could have done it. because us that season was so far ahead of the rest. Like again, Manchester, like when football stopped in the second week of March, Liverpool were on enough points that Manchester City couldn't even catch that up towards the end of the season. No one did. And the fact that Liverpool went on and won the league by 99 points, like that is special as well and doesn't get spoken about. And even this season, Liverpool are projected to get 93 points this season. That's more than what Fergie ever did at Manchester United. And again, obviously, that's not saying that again Arne Slot's better than Fergie because he's not. Because again, Alex Ferguson won, what was it, 13, 14 league titles. But for us, it's special because again, we're about to equal and get another league title, and it is special because everybody would give it up right now. Why do you think Arsenal fans have cried this much this season? Because let's be honest, Arsenal have not deserved to win this league title. Nobody has, apart from Liverpool. Like again, Brighton have got more of an argument for winning the league than Arsenal. They're on top of the league on match day 1. Even City were top of the league for what was it, like 4 or 5 match days, and then Liverpool took over and never looked back. Which again I think is very, very funny in the end anyway. But Liverpool will become champions soon. 12 points clear. Good luck for that as well. Kevin De Bruyne is a great player. He is finished. Yeah, his body's going up on him. To be fair. I think we will get Frimpong, right winger from Leverkusen. I don't think so personally, but again, could be pleasantly surprised. Big up Ozan as well if you're doing well. Liverpool for the title. Let me go back up. Ozan says I back Neverton to take a points off Arsenal tomorrow. 1-1 draw Goodison. I'd be surprised personally. Maybe apart from Chelsea or Arsenal, all the games Liverpool are playing without emotion. Yeah, but again, I think saying the title will be done before then. I really do believe that. But God of Honor in 3 games, I reckon as well. But yeah, I think I think 4. Myself anyway. Many opposition fans also coming up with the excuse that the league is shit this season. If that's the case, why is Arsenal or City not top? True. I think the league this year has been the most competitive it's ever been. Like you do look at it and you like in what season is Man United and Spurs? What are they, 13th and 14th right now, or 14th and 15th? Like again, like Wolves, like you even look at it, Wolves last season were fighting mid-table. They were fighting top 10 really, wasn't they? And this season they've struggled, and they've had to fight off relegation. Of course, people can argue. Of course, obviously the teams coming up, because even again, I think next season there's definitely something where you do look at it and of course there might have to be a question mark in terms of again prize money from the EFL and so on as well. But I do think again the most likeliest teams are the teams that could potentially come up. When we talk about Sheffield United, Burnley, Leeds, the teams that are there, like it's a minimum now that they have to spend 100 million just to even be in the conversations. Like again, you look at a Forest, for example. Like Forest have done an amazing job, haven't they? But again, they had to spend ridiculous amount of money. And even this season, or even last season, I should say, like I think everybody said Luton Town did everything right. Probably, I would say, in terms of they. Of course, they fought until like the last couple of days, and it looked like their team was really good. In terms of maybe potentially, obviously coming down and then going back up. But I think they're on course to get back-to-back relegations. And you kind of look at it and go like that, they were in the Premier League, they were in the relegation fight last season, up until the end, this time last year. And now they're going to be relegated from the Championship down to League One. But it's happened before. You look at Wolves. Wolves, back-to-back relegations, had to really rebuild, didn't they, in League One, and then obviously come up, and it's been here since. So it can happen, of course it can, but again, I look at it, and for me, I think it has been the most competitive league this season. But plus Gabriel for the season, yeah, absolutely. Are you going to the likely parade? Yes, I will be. I will be in Liverpool. I will be at the parade, 100%. That is already ticked off. I will definitely be there. If the league was that shite, surely Arsenal and City should be winning it, right? Pathetic excuse. Yeah, 100%. Agree with that anyway. But look, it is 4 wins for Liverpool. Of course, obviously the most important news as well, like I said, in terms of, again, injury news for both teams. Of course, Alisson most likely will be fit. Of course, obviously the concussion protocol, he didn't manage to complete it. It was literally the last tick of the box he didn't comply with. So again, you'd probably suspect Ali's going to be available. Obviously, Connor Bradley, Arne Slot did speak about it. He's had a couple of sessions, but is he going to bring him back in? That's going to be, I think, the big question mark, really. But of course, we know, obviously, the likes of Joe Gomez, Trent, and Tyler Morton, they are out injured. Even though Tyler Morton has been photoed in training as well, which is a good sense anyway. But talking about Fulham as well, of course, 9th in the league, which, to be fair, is very, very good going for them. To be fair, they could sneak in to a European place this season. Like, looking at it now, they are, what's that, 5? They are 5 points off. No, sorry, they're 6 points off City. So could they get Champions League football? Highly unlikely, I would say now. But even still, there's a very, very good chance that they could get Conference League or even Europa League this season. But again, they're around that same place again. I think now I do think Bournemouth are slowly falling back. Of course, they lost to Ipswich midweek as well. But you look at that race, really. You got Newcastle, Villa, Brighton, then Fulham. Again, could easily just flick, in a switch, really. And I do think that'll be very interesting as well. And I will be very intrigued to see who does get the European places. Anyway, now going on to start them predictions for me. Now, before anybody says it, yes, I know Chiesa is in this. I did this and then realized about 2 seconds before we were about to go live. Anyway, but apart from Chiesa, that would be my starting 11 for the game against Fulham. So it'd be Alisson in goal, Connor Bradley right back, Ibu Konate, Virgil van Dijk, and Andy Robertson. Midfield 3 of Grav, McAllister, Szoboszlai. Front 3 of Mo Salah. Darwin Núñez, I think, will start for Liverpool. Even though I know Diogo Jota did score, I think Darwin will start for Liverpool. And I think he'll go Cody Gakpo over Luis Diaz. I think he might go a bit more direct against Fulham, especially with their fullbacks. They do get up quite high as well, which I think, again, if you go a bit more direct, that's the way then we will end up going. But again, if it is Luis Diaz, his performance against Everton, it really, really was a good performance. And as well, like we said earlier, Curtis Jones at right back for Liverpool. If Connor Bradley is not available, I think that'll be the big one. As well as, Red Rebellion says, but there's Jones did well at right back. And yeah, I think he'll start again. If Bradley's not 100% fit, I think he'll go. I think he will go for Connor Bradley, not Connor Bradley, for Curtis Jones. Sorry, if Connor Bradley's not fit for the game anyway. But again, we could see maybe one or two other changes. Again, like I said, for me, I think Cody will play, but I'm not against Lucho starting after that performance. If he can kick on again, then great. But again, it's that number 9 position. What does Arne Slot do with it? Because I did think in the Merseyside derby, I thought he would have started Chiesa. Considering, again, I think all of us had the same type of idea that, maybe he might give Chiesa more of an opportunity, and then didn't play any minutes in the Merseyside derby, which doesn't bode well, really. But I do think it will be Darwin that does start maybe, then obviously we'll bring on Diogo Jota. But I think overall, of course, Liverpool again, we'll take a 1-0, we'll take a 2-0, anything, just 3 points. That is the main important thing for the weekend, of course, anyway. And for me, I'm going to go Liverpool win, and I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. I think, again, Fulham's going to be very, very tough. You'd look at, previous games that we've played against them. Earlier on in the season, we drew 2-2, should have won that game really, with 10 men. Last season away at Craven Cottage, of course, we did beat them 3-1, Ryan Gravenberch's goal. But even still, you look at our away records at their ground. Again, Liverpool have only won twice in their last 6 times. No, 5 times, sorry. Again, like Liverpool, like even looking at it now, like obviously last season we won 3-1, but again 1-1 draw, 2-2 draw, a 1-1 draw back in December. Like again, we've and of course I think even we drew, didn't we, in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Fulham as well. So it's been tough against Fulham away. For sure, as well. But I'd be very, very intrigued to know your guys' thoughts. But for me, I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool for me. I said 2-0 against Everton, and we kept the clean sheet on 1-1-0. So, again, even if it's 1-0, I'll be more than happy, to be fair. But I like Jones. Actually, to be fair, let me go back up. I see Jota starting Con because he scored last game of the derby. Yeah, that's very true. I like Jones. Got avoided for the narrative from social media, etc. Just got on with things. Plus, if Trent goes, he is our only scouser in our team. Yeah, well, to be fair, the rightful scouser in our team, to be fair, considering Trent's buggering off to Madrid. I was not saying I predicted a reasonable 3-2 win. Jesus, surprised we haven't got like 7-6 Ozan, to be fair. But no, like I think the only thing that like annoys me with Curtis Jones, I think Curtis Jones has everything to be a great player. It's just sometimes he delays on the ball way too much, and there's certain things like even now he did 5 years ago that you thought, oh, maybe he has to grow out of that, and he kind of still does it. But I think he is a really, really good player. Like, again, you'd much rather have him in your squads than not have him, in my opinion anyway. But again, that's just my thoughts. Reasonable 3-2 win. Fulham 1, Liverpool 2, says Cal, Salah and Diaz. And Ozan says, that's why I said reasonable. Well, to be fair, it's not so bad. A reasonable 3-2 anyway. But look, any 3 points will be great. And of course, obviously, if Arsenal drop points to Everton, then again, any win will be a great win. Anyway, but look, Liverpool are only 4 wins away. And yeah, I'm starting to get excited now because it's slowly, like I've said, Liverpool are going to win the league for a long time, but it's starting slowly to sink in. Like we are going to go and win the league title. Like it's, we said it other years, like in 18-19 and obviously 21-22. Like we said, like I've said it before on the channel, like I felt like, oh look, we're gonna win, we're gonna win the league, and we didn't end up winning it. But like 12 points clear as of things right now, there's a chance that Liverpool could be 15 points clear, and yeah, that is just totally unavoidable, really. But look, hopefully, we'll have some good news tomorrow afternoon. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, 2-0 for me. I'm gonna go with Mo, and I'm gonna go with Dom Szoboszlai to get the goal as well. Anyway, but it's all about 3 points now. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing now. You can go all out on these games. There's no distractions now, really. But Arsenal are dropping points. I can feel it, says Ozan as well. Hopefully they do anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you're watching on the repeat as well, do let me know your guys' thoughts. Of course, on everything we've mentioned tonight anyway, and of course, get your predictions in anyway. But for me, Jesus Christ, Harvey Elliott off the bench to score the winner in the 93rd minute. I don't think my heart can take that, really. Ozan, I very much like a very comfortable win, please. Anyway, but no, like, hopefully, again, Liverpool will get the win. Tomorrow we will be live. Tomorrow, I will be live. Or there might be a video up, so make sure you are staying tuned to the channel, or of course keep up the tabs with social media, or of course the community tab. We'll let you guys know on there anyway. But yeah, Sunday post-match reaction, of course, and then of course there'll be videos up in the week as well, because look, we're no longer talking about game after game after game. Of course, it's a week spells now, really, isn't it? It's every Sunday. It's the Sunday special for Liverpool now, from now until the end of the season, and hopefully at the end of the season it will be a very special end to the season anyway. But look, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your days, have a good weekend as well away from the football again, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode anyway. But that's gonna be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cup Council. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.